So, it's been about a year since I started making guides for Guild Wars 2 on this channel, and I have to say that the response has been orders of magnitude more than I originally expected it to be. I was surprised that the first couple videos got over 1,000 views, let alone the over 100,000 views that they have now, so thanks for that. Now that we've passed the most significant subscriber milestone, I've decided to do a Q&A video. I've got a few questions from a post I made on YouTube a while back, as well as some questions from Discord DMs and some that I just get asked pretty often. There's some that are about me, and there's some that are about video topics, and I tend to give really long answers to questions, so we'll just get started and see how long this ends up. Do you still enjoy making all of that gold, and if so, what's the thing you like most about it? I definitely enjoy the gold making process. If I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. I will say that I'm less into it now than I was a few years ago, but that's just because I've already got a pretty absurd amount, and the only big milestone I have yet to reach is wallet cap, which is 200,000 raw gold. And I'll get there eventually, but I'm not really worried about rushing it because it's just not a priority to me. As for what I like most about it, I guess there's a couple things. I like the exploration and research of different methods, normal stuff like farming, or less common stuff like trading. I also like the social aspect of it. Most players want to earn gold to get to specific goals, and it's fun being able to talk to people and help them find a way to reach their goal while also enjoying the journey. I've made a lot of friends while talking about gold making, and having fun playing with all of them is probably more enjoyable than the gold itself has ever been. What is your method to find items for flipping? So basically, I've covered my recommendations for finding items in my TP flipping guide, but admittedly I haven't really used those methods for the majority of my flipping. That's mostly just because I'm lazy. I tend to just notice margins on items while I'm playing, and then I'll regularly come back to those same items to see if they're still decent. In the past, I've kept lists for those items on Excel and Notepad, but I don't really bother with that anymore. Even though it would probably be my highest gold per hour, I don't really like just sitting at the TP and grinding flips. So when I want to flip, it's usually going back to some of my favorite items, putting in orders for them during meta events or fractals, something like that. Probably 80% of those items were found just by looking at them and not even intending to find flipping items. So that's how I usually do it. If you want a more hands-on approach, I'll still stand by the methods that I showed in my flipping video. How much are the Barons of Guild Wars 2 making, and how much time are they investing for it? This is a pretty broad question. It kind of depends on what you mean by Baron. There's a lot of people that refer to themselves as Barons either as a joke or because they have ego problems, and then there's also other people that refer to them as Barons. The people they call Barons have a wide variety of liquid gold values, and also don't all make their gold the same way, so the gold they make per hour also varies a lot. If you're talking about someone with over 100,000 liquid gold that's focused on making gold as a Baron, I'd say maybe 50 to 300 gold per hour, depending on what they're doing and what the item prices are like. Some rich players follow a cookie cutter process of just making and selling legendaries and have just done it enough to amass a lot of gold. Others will collect data on the contents of various loot containers and then set up really efficient spreadsheets and inventory setups to process a large number of those containers, and that will achieve really high gold per hour rates. And then those same people will craft profitable stuff with the materials they get to further propagate the profit. There are others that sit on the TP and just churn out gold through efficient flipping, which can vary a lot in the profit you make day by day. There's also a few that have just grinded the hell out of fractals, which are profitable enough on their own if you do them long enough. When it comes to more passive gold making, it can also vary a lot. There are different players that make different investments and do different passive gold makers, so some will make significant amounts of gold through logging in alt accounts and taking advantage of things like Lunar New Year Festival with all of those accounts. Even without alt accounts, lots of rich players make large lump sums of profit by crafting or selling new items from festivals or new maps. For my part, I probably average 30 to 40 gold in about 15 minutes if I'm logging in and just doing some mindless daily stuff. Most of that is the easiest stuff from my daily gold making video and a few modest flips and crafts that I go back to regularly. If I'm farming or doing fractals, it's probably in the range of 30 to 50 gold per hour, and when I've sat at the TP and flipped actively, which is my sweaty method of choice, I could do 100 gold per hour pretty consistently, with more being possible on good days, as high as 200, 250 gold per hour. If there's a decent opportunity from a new content release or festival, I'll make a few hundred to 1,000 gold on it, depending on how good it is. Think antique summoning stones on End of Dragon's release, that sort of thing. That's just me though. There's other players that use more intensive methods and make more gold than I do. The number of players that actively make a consistent 200 to 300 gold per hour though can probably be counted on your hands. So if you see random people claiming to make that kind of gold, it's very likely that they're either lying or doing something sketchy. That's a very long-winded answer, but hopefully it's okay. Have you ever swiped for gems? So, I've definitely bought gems with real money before. It must have been for mount skins or a gathering tool when Path of Fire came out. I don't really remember what I bought or how much it was exactly. At most, I'm guessing $50 total, but I'm also guessing it was probably less. I've never exchanged gems for gold though. I've always done gold to gems for my account upgrades. Is there any content that keeps you interested in the game other than the trading post? I'd say that fractals are probably my favorite piece of content in the game. Open world can also be fun if I have people on Discord to talk to. For me, both of those things keep me interested in the game more than the trading post does at this point. Working on YouTube content also keeps me engaging with the game on a regular basis, obviously, but yep. In a bit of a similar vein, what's your favorite specialization? My favorite is Dragon Hunter, which is the first class I really got into endgame content with. I picked it up years ago because I was under the impression that it was the easiest and I wasn't super motivated to play anything complicated. I ended up being wrong in the best way possible and really enjoyed the huge burst and some of the more advanced stuff like stow canceling with Greatsword and doing fractal skips. I don't really like the heavy light trait because it feels like it kind of destroys the theme of the class, so when I play, I still play with Big Game Hunter. My favorite second weapon set is Sword Focus, and even though it's been worse DPS than Bow for quite a while, I still play with it because I like it more. As long as you're able to still put out solid DPS numbers in the actual fights, it doesn't really matter what weapons you run in my opinion. What games do you play other than Guild Wars 2? Alright, here we go. Every once in a while, I'll get back into old school RuneScape, and a couple months ago, I ended up getting a year's worth of membership for my Iron Man, so I've been playing that quite a bit. If you're into grindy games and don't care about dated graphics, it's probably the best MMO on the market, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people remember RuneScape for the mindless clicking on the same spot, and while there's definitely still some of that, the old school development team regularly comes up with new ideas for more interactive training methods and unique endgame content. And they also have players vote on proposed content releases, and votes need to pass with a 75% approval for the content to be implemented, so most new releases are pretty good. I've been grinding the Corrupted Gauntlet on my Iron Man, and I'd say it beats out Guild Wars 2 Fractal CMs and almost all the raids and strikes as far as difficulty is concerned. If anyone plays old school and was wondering, I've got 2 enhanced weapon seeds at around 400 KC of Corrupted Gauntlet, but I'm getting screwed so hard on the armor seeds that it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna be there for a while. But yeah, I'm just starting to finally get into some of the endgame content on my Iron Man, and it's been a blast so far. I also used to play a lot of League of Legends, but in the past 5 years, I've not been very serious about it, and I only really play with friends now. For those that are curious, my peak is High Diamond 2, playing top, mid, and AD carry. My favorite champs tend to be high skill cap assassins and AD carries, but I play a little of everything outside of jungle, just because I don't play enough to keep up with all the changes that they keep making to it. I know I've also put a few clips from other games in one of my previous videos. There was Hades, which is a great game that I thoroughly recommend. It has something for everyone, regardless of what you like in a game. I've done 32 heat runs on all the weapons except for the rail, because I hate that weapon. There was a Genshin Impact clip, which I do play as a free-to-play player for. I enjoyed Genshin a lot when I first started playing it, but now I'm in a sort of maintenance mode with it, and I probably need to take a break so that I can come back in like 6 months and enjoy it the same way again. There's also a Halo Combat Evolved speedrunning clip, which is my clip, but I don't regularly speedrun or submit times for it. I'm sure there's a handful of others, but those are the ones that I'm remembering right now. Do you have a background in finance or economics? So I've unsurprisingly got a big interest in personal finance, and it's something that I do like to talk about. It's probably weird and boring to most people, but I enjoy comparing financial products and measuring progress towards financial goals and things like that. But I didn't study it at university, and I don't currently work in that field. Before starting this channel, I was considering getting FINRA security licenses, which allow you to work for a broker-dealer in the US and be a financial advisor, sell investment products, that sort of thing. I didn't end up finding a firm and position that I was interested in though, so I never ended up going through with that. A lot of the positions I was looking at ended up being more life insurance focused, and while the commissions and pay tend to be higher for insurance products, being monetarily incentivized to sell people more insurance than they need is not really my idea of a fun job. If I were to work in the financial sector, it would be because the job lets me help people better their relationship with money and build better futures for themselves, things like that, not because I want to push high commission products. So for now at least, I've not found such a job, and so I don't work with that stuff. Another kind of money-related question, how much do you make from YouTube? So some people shy away from stuff like this, but it doesn't really bother me. The short answer is a little under $2 per 1,000 views, on average. There's a lot of factors baked into that number though. Videos that are longer and have higher viewer retention make more than short videos with low retention. Ads in different countries also pay very different amounts, so the location of your audience matters a lot as well. The number of viewers with ad blockers and YouTube Premium also affect the numbers, and YouTube takes a 45% cut of your revenue. So all that said, a little under $2 per 1,000 views is the end result for me. The YouTube Partner Program requires you to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours and then apply, and then wait a month for approval though, so the majority of the views on my first few videos I didn't get paid for. The money's a cute little bonus, but I never expected to make anything from the channel in the first place, so it's not why I do anything I do. And considering that most of my videos have taken anywhere from like 20 to 60 hours to make, it's also not a lot of money relative to the time that's gone in, but yeah, there you have it. Do you have any plans to start streaming on Twitch? So, streaming isn't completely out of the question. I've done it before with League several years ago. I may start streaming at some point, but I don't currently have any idea of when that would be. I would probably have to put YouTube on the back burner or pull most of my content from stream footage, which would mean less guides. There's also the issue of my hardware being 7 years old. I can stream something like League, no problem, but Guild Wars 2 is much more demanding, and I'd probably have really bad performance. If I did start to stream on my current hardware, it would probably be variety streaming, older RPGs like Final Fantasy X, Kingdom Hearts, and maybe like a little Guild Wars 2 every once in a while. It's possible. I might stream some Hades 2 when it comes out. You'll just have to let me know if that's something that you'd actually be interested in, me variety streaming games that aren't Guild Wars 2. It would be quite different to what I do on YouTube, and it would have a lot more of my personality in it than my videos on YouTube do. What are your future video plans? This one gets asked periodically through Discord DMs. As far as specifics go, I'll just say you'll see. A lot of the videos aren't planned super far in advance, so I don't honestly know half the time when I get asked this. Big picture wise, I make videos in a way that the information has more permanence and is not likely to become thoroughly outdated. I don't really like the whole meta of content recycling on YouTube, posting a 2023 version of a video, and then the next year paraphrasing the exact same information, remaking the video and slapping 2024 on it. I get that it makes more ad revenue, but my channel is nowhere near big enough for that to matter, and I'm too lazy to remake the same videos. so you won't see updated versions of my existing videos unless things change a lot. It's more likely that the videos like the farming guide will get part 2s if multiple new things come out that are relevant. The only big idea I was thinking about was creating and progressing an account from scratch, limited only to basic gold makers like farming and crafting, with no trading or TP flipping involved. Having to unlock living world episodes with gold, getting no help from friends, that sort of thing. It's the sort of content that's popular in the RuneScape community, and the stuff that I thoroughly enjoy. As some of you might have already been thinking, it's basically what Mighty Teapot has been doing, and I was thinking about what restrictions and goals I'd give to the account if I was going to do that sort of series, and then I found out about his series, which was still brand new, a couple episodes in at the time. So I sort of scrapped the whole idea at that point. My account was going to be a little bit more restricted than his, and I definitely would do some things differently than he's done, but there's too many similarities for it to feel unique, and I don't think it's worth all the effort just to say that I've done it a little faster, or whatever. I've got a couple other ideas for more unique series, but those are on the back burner for now. As always, feel free to comment suggestions for future videos. I can't guarantee that I'll do any of them, but it's always good to have more ideas rather than less. But yeah, that's about all I can say about future video plans. And with that, I think I've covered all the questions that I planned to in this video. I answer a lot of video-specific questions in the comment sections of each video, so there weren't too many more of those left for this video. Hopefully it was interesting either way. As always, I'd appreciate it if you could give this video a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 videos in the future. Thanks for watching.